Yes. 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 Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this March month edition of the Borough Board, Brooklyn Borough Board. I am Carol Ann Church, and I am the newly hired director of Brooklyn Community Boards. It's a pleasure to see you all this evening. In the interest of participants' health and safety, we are meeting through the WebEx video conferencing platform during the ongoing pandemic, as authorized by the extension of remote open meetings under the law. Governor Hochul signed on January 14, 2022. There are no voting items on tonight's agenda. Please note that this virtual meeting is being recorded to comply with the Open Meetings Law for transparency. The recording will be available at a later date on the Borough President's YouTube channel. The proposed agenda for tonight is the welcome, introductions, and roll call, Borough President's update, presentation from the New York City Civic Engagement Commission, presented by Andy Toledo, community boards updates, council member updates, and new business. I will now call the roll. After the roll call, I will seek unanimous consent of the proposed agenda. And we will start with Community Board 18, who's probably always not the first. So tonight we will start reverse order. Community Board 18, Michael Ian. Can you unmute yourself and respond, please? Thank you. Suwan Partnow? No. Community Board 17, Joan Alexander
Bakredine.
Bakredine, thank you.
My pleasure. I am present, and I am joined by my treasurer, Orlando Ross. He will be backing me up in the moments that I'm unable to attend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Community Board 16. Any representative from CB 16, please unmute yourself. Okay, Community Board 15.
Teresa Scavo, Chair, present.
Thank you. Community Board 14.
Good evening, Joanne Brown, Chair, present.
Thank you. Community Board 13.
Lucia Acevedo, Chair 13, accompanied by my first Vice Chair and my second Vice Chair, CB 13.
Full house for CB 13 tonight, thanks. Community Board 11.
Manuel Lau, 11.
Thank you. Sorry. Oh, Community Board 12. I'm sorry. Okay, Community Board 10.
Hi, I'm Jane Marie Kapitanakis, Vice Chair of Community Board 10.
Community Board 9.
Roy Baptiste, Chair, Community Board 9, and I can't wait till we start from the middle.
Don't tempt me. Community Board 8. Community Board 7.
Hi, this is Cesar Zuniga, Chair of Community Board 7, and joined by my first Vice Chair, Julio Peña, the third.
Community Board 6. Community Board 5.
Good evening, Melinda Perkins, District Manager representing CB5.
Community Board 4. Community Board 3.
Anthony Butesworth, Chair, Community Board 3.
Community Board 2.
Dorothea Thompson Manning, and I just want to say it took me 15 minutes to get on. I don't know what was going on. So I'm glad I got here in time for attendance.
And it's nice to see you, Dorothea.
You too, Carol Ann.
Community Board 1. Is there anyone from a community board that logged in after we called the community board? Please let us know.
Community Board 1, Gina Barrows. Dallas Fuller, chairperson designee.
Thank you.
January 7th.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You were very slight. Okay.
January 7th.
Councilmember District. District 48. Councilmember Vernikov. District 47. Councilmember Kagan. Council District 46, Councilmember Narcisse.
Kim Robinson for Councilmember Narcisse.
Thank you. District 45, Councilmember Louis.
Christia Winter representing.
Thank you.
I see you just gave me, but it's 46. I'm here with Kim as well. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Council District 44, Councilmember Yeager.
I'm here. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Council District 43, Councilmember Brannan. Council District 42, Councilmember Barron.
Omawale Clay, Chief of Staff to Councilmember Barron.
Thank you. Council District 41, Councilmember Mealy. Council District 40, Councilmember Rita Joseph.
Sam Weinberger here on behalf of Councilmember Rita Joseph.
Thank you. Council District 39, Councilmember Hanif.
Hello, this is Musa Lamia. I'm the council member's designee.
Thank you. Council District 38, Councilmember Aviles. Council District 37, Councilmember Nurse. Council District 36, Councilmember Osei. Council District 35,
Hello.
Councilmember.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
I'm representing Councilmember Chiosei's office. My name is Christina Serrano.
Thank you. Council District 35, Councilmember Hudson.
Good evening. My name is Casey Addison. I'm representing Councilmember Crystal Hudson.
Council District 34, Member Jennifer Gutierrez. Council District 33, Councilmember Ressler.
Hi, Mariana Alexander here for Councilmember Ressler.
Thank you all so very much for coming this afternoon.
Excuse me, Caroline. Jeff
Yes.
Fuller's here from one.
Nice to see you, Dallas.
Likewise, Caroline. How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a while.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to working with you. I know how hard you work.
Thank you. I'm glad you sang it in front of the borough president.
Oh, don't mess with her, Antonio. We work good together. Caroline is a hard-working person, very knowledgeable.
Thank you. Are there any objections to the adoption of the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is now adopted. Copies of the minutes were sent to all members. Does anyone have a correction of the minutes? Any amendments? Okay, I'd like to say that we do have an amendment from Community Board 6. District Manager Mike Gracioposo attended that meeting and was not listed as an attendee. Is there any objection to adopting the minutes of the February 1st, 2022 Borough Board meeting that was sent out to all members? Hearing none, The minutes of the Borough Board meeting of February 1st, 2022 is adopted into the record. Next on the agenda will be remarks from our Borough President, Antonio Reynoso. Mr. Borough President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, Caroline. Really happy to have you running that part of the show, and really excited for what your position and your role here is really going to do for the community board. So just thank you so much. Hello to all the chairs and all the elected officials. Thank you so much for being here, and all the reps from the community boards. Happy March 1st. February was a tough month across the board for many reasons. I'm glad it's over. Looking forward to brighter days in March, including tomorrow, and I think on Sunday where it'll be 61 degrees. So I'm excited about that. Just a reminder that applications are going to close this Friday, March 4th. It'll be the last opportunity for applications to come in. With Caroline's direction, we'll be reviewing it and compile the applications to be sent to you by March 17th. The applications will be sent to you through a link in our new applicant system instead of a compiled PDF. So you'll be receiving it through the new system, not through a PDF. We hope that this will help streamline your review process, as all applicants for each CB will be stored in one place, and you'll be able to mark who you are considering for appointment within that new system. Along with the applications, you will also receive attendance records for those reapplying for the board, and you will receive the final versions of the appointment worksheets. Just make sure, yeah. Be sure to use the worksheets you receive in March. The sheets are updated as the board changes are sent to us. We hope to have the process completed and notifications to all appointees and board members completed prior to May 1st. Just make sure. Okay, and I think that that's what I have for the moment. Gonna stay on. Looking forward to hearing from all the chairs and the elected officials on any possible new items. And if there was an old news or old business, I guess, that I didn't get to, would love to hear from the reps to make sure that I follow up on any commitments or any conversations that we had prior to today. Thank you.
Thank you, Borough President. Next on the agenda this evening, we have Andy Toledo from the New York City Civic Engagement Commission. I'll let Andy tell you more about the commission, but as you may remember, it was an item on the ballot in 2018, and their purpose is to increase civic engagement, as the name says, in Brooklyn. And so they are adding a hand to borough president's offices and to community boards across the city. So this is something that we can all take advantage of in our role as community board members and administrators. So I will ask Andy to unmute himself and tell us about the Civic Engagement Commission and some of their upcoming initiatives. Andy?
All right, thank you, Caroline. Good evening, everyone. As Caroline mentioned, Andy Toledo with the Civic Engagement Commission. I've met many of the district managers in Brooklyn and CB staff. As Caroline had mentioned, the Civic Engagement Commission is a fairly new agency, a little bit over 3 years old now. And our charter mandates are very specific. One, to provide training and technical support to community boards. We are the city agency that's charged to design and implement a citywide participatory budgeting program. We also are the agency that's charged with providing post-site interpretation program. And we're also the city agency charged with language access throughout the city of New York. As Caroline mentioned, there are a few initiatives that I would like to share with the community boards. By now, many of you should have received the upcoming workshop that CEC will be providing with Public Agenda. The Brooklyn Community Board workshop is scheduled for Monday, April 4th. We're still a month away, but please, I want to encourage all the DMs to encourage your community board leadership, your board members to attend the workshop. If your board members are not able to attend the April 4th workshop, they are more than welcome to attend either the Bronx workshop date, Manhattan or Queens. The Bronx is scheduled for Monday, March 14th. Manhattan is scheduled for March the 21st, and Queens is scheduled for the March 28th. So please, all the dates are on the flyer. I believe I shared the links, the Zoom links as well. But if not, I will share that first thing tomorrow morning with all the DMs. I also wanted to share in regards to our participatory budgeting program. As I mentioned, we are the city agency that's charged with designing and implementing a citywide PB project. We were awarded a $5 million expense project to implement for the citywide PB project. Prior to Mayor de Blasio's tenure, he did set aside a budget for $5 million for us to run a citywide expense project. We are in the beginning stages of designing that PB process. We are looking to schedule a meeting with all the district managers throughout the city of New York. We are targeting a date of sometime mid to late April or early May for all the Brooklyn district managers to really share with all the DMs our initial design and implementation of this PB process. We do want to get as much feedback and input from all the district managers. You all are a wealth of information and networking, so we want to include all the district managers from the very beginning in this process, and we really look forward to hearing your feedback and what's the best way that we could design and implement a citywide participatory budgeting and get as many constituents throughout the city of New York to participate in this process. I did also wanted to announce that CEC and Democracy NYC has merged. Democracy NYC was a Mayor de Blasio initiative back in 2018, and Democracy NYC is the mayoral initiative that was charged with voter turnout, voter education, and outreach. That is now part of the Civic Engagement Commission, so that is a new charter that we are now charged with. Next week is a student voter registration drive that will start March 7th through the 11th. We will be in 8 schools in Brooklyn. We don't have the full list of the 8 high schools that we will be in, but I'll provide that either tomorrow or Thursday. But we will be in Brooklyn that whole week, either 1 or 2 schools throughout that week, getting high school students to register to vote. They can pre-register from 16 to 17, and then they'll be eligible to vote at the age of 18. And that's it, Caroline. That's all I have on my agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. One little piece. I do want to mention that as an agency, we are growing. I was the only outreach person for 2.5 years. I'm happy to announce that we hired 2 more outreach staff, and we're in the process of hiring possibly 2 to 3 more outreach staff. Our goal is to have a community engagement specialist assigned to each borough, and also assigned to attending general board meetings, district service cabinet meetings, attending the Borough Board and Borough Cabinet meetings. We really want to be well embedded in all the community board meetings and processes. So once we have a full onboarding of the outreach unit, I will email all the DMs and get all the district service cabinet schedules and have a community engagement specialist assigned to each borough. That's all I have for now. If there's any questions or concerns, I don't know if you want to do it now or if you at the end of the meeting, Carolyn.
No, does anyone have any questions for Andy?
Good evening, Melinda Perkins, TV5. How are you, Andy? And thank you so much, Caroline. Just a quick, there was going to be a long question. So do you have time tomorrow possibly to jump on a call, maybe about 11:30?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I just have a few questions, and I know it'll be too long-winded for this meeting, but it definitely involves the participatory budget and the relationship to the CDNA that we currently submit, and a couple of other things around that process.
Absolutely. I'll touch base with you first thing tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much.
Hi, hi, Joan Bacher, Community Board 17. I don't have a question, I have a statement. I am a member of the Civic Engagement Commission Participatory Budgeting Advisory Committee. Long word, yeah. So I'm very proud and pleased to see the results of our work and this level of engagement that happens as we have done the work to kind of put everything in position. Thank you very much for bringing it here, Mr. Toledo. Finally, I meet you in person. Well done. So I look forward to what it means now for community engagement in general as we leverage the perspective of community boards in this work. Thank you.
Absolutely, and congratulations. Look forward to working with you.
Any other comments or questions for Andy? Hearing none, Andy, I want to thank you for giving us some time this evening, for bringing the message that community boards are important, because that's what you're saying when you say, here, we have these resources to support you and to support your goals. And all it can do is improve our democracy and civic engagement in New York City. So thank you for being one of the flag bearers of that message. Okay, next on the agenda will be updates from the community board chairs. And again, today we'll start with CB18, if there's anyone on from CB18. Okay, CB17.
I'm loving this. All right. So for me, there's just a few reports. One question, so I'll start with a question and then I'll go into my report. So I just want to check in regarding the status of the trainings. I know I've spoken to President Reynoso and I've sent a couple of emails, but I just wanted to check in regarding that.
Yeah, I think, Caroline, they're talking about the possible training, specifically the ULERP training that we're looking to do for our community boards. We are currently going through the process of contracting that at the moment, Joan. So we're looking to do this right away. We already have community boards we want to start with. I think we're going to have to do a pilot program with one community board, or there might be one presentation for the entire all community boards in all of Brooklyn in one shot. But that makes it less interactive, and I don't know if that's what we want to do. We actually want to be able to field questions and have members feel that they're connected, that they're touching it a bit more. So we're trying to figure out if that works. And we're communicating with 2 vendors right now. So hopefully we have another update next month. We were hoping to get this done by this month, by March. So we're still working on achieving that goal of this month being the next time we do the training.
Okay, so I'd like to advocate for Community Board 17 as that community board for that work, because there's a lot of out of context building happening within our community. And there is a lot of pressure being applied now to conclude a potential rezoning process. For us, we want it to be a contextual rezoning process that was begun many years ago. There has been a resolution put into place for rezoning subcommittee. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff happening. So if we can have some specifics and if we can serve then as the litmus test, if you will, for the training. As I speak, I'm in the process of putting one together. We were trying to do it for this month, but it's not looking promising for this month. But if we can have some specifics around the training and what it will entail, and we can maybe have a side conversation about what we were looking to do, so we can also talk logistics, so I can bring it back to the community board members, that'll be helpful.
Yeah, Joe. A couple of things. We might be able to help you before that. We have planners that we can give you access to, so that we can have everything in order and give you some of those resources. The training is important, and we're trying to get that to you as soon as we possibly can through vendors and outside help. But what we're talking about here is the potential to have you meet with a planner in our office ASAP.
Oh yes, we've met. Okay, great. So I just, that for President Reynoso, that is perfect, because that's what we've been doing. We've met with
Okay.
with DCP. We've met with, yes, we've met with your office on, if it wasn't this Friday, it was last Friday. So we're in a
Wait,
good
our
position
office,
then.
you met with a planner from our office. Did you meet with John from our office?
And Erin Buchanan, land
Okay.
use.
So
Yeah, yeah.
we're gonna have Caroline, we'll follow up with Erin and John tomorrow, Joan. And if you feel like there's a level of urgency and you need a lot more help or you need to figure something out in the interim, I'll talk
Yes,
to them
please.
to make sure that they're not just passing through, that they understand that you want more help.
Yes,
So
please.
that's
If
okay.
you wouldn't mind doing that, that'll be very helpful.
Okay.
That is exactly what we're looking for. So
All
then
right.
I'll also give another bit of feedback that we have. Our first vice chair has resigned because, you know, there's a lot of need in the community. So he's made the jump to serve. He's running for office as we speak, and felt it better for him to resign. So we are looking to, you know, fulfill that space in the interim. I'm looking forward to getting some new blood with the new applications for to become board members. So for me, that was, oh, one other thing still about training, the general trainings, the ones for board members, for chairs that you talked about when you first, like right after you swore in, and I ran into you, you had that conversation. So that's the other piece that we're looking for as well.
Yeah, and that was gonna take a little bit of time too,
Okay.
because we want to build like a welcome to the community board package. That makes sense. So
Yes.
we have a lot of work to do, or Caroline has a lot of work to do. But yeah, 100%. We're on top of that as well. We just had I think yesterday or today we had our directors meeting, and we're following up with another meeting with Deputy Borough President Caroline and myself to really starting to address and tackle a lot of these issues. I think so we're definitely on page for all three things that you just asked. So we're gonna give you a planner. We're gonna tell the planners that you need more hands-on work related to this issue of the rezonings, while we're also looking to contract for a general ULURP class and like presentation. So we can educate our community board members. Of course, hopefully by the 1st of May, you can get a new vice chair. And we'll be working on an intro to community boards that we could present.
Awesome.
I might take a little longer though, that part. So we'll figure it out though. But noted on all, it'll be reflected on the minutes next month that you requested these things.
Excellent. And then parliamentarian training, because some feel that they know the process, but then they're disruptive to proceedings. So that would be very helpful as well. So if you can add that to your list, I would now move to accept my report as read and conclude my commentary. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Packardin. Did I get it right? Close. Okay.
No, you were spot on. That was perfect.
Okay, good. Thanks. Community Board 16.
Hi, good afternoon, or good evening, Janice Morgan. I actually don't have anything to really report or any other concerns this evening.
Thank you for being here. Community
Thank
Board
you.
15.
Good evening. Many years ago, the Department of City Planning gave absolutely fabulous and informative training at Borough Hall for the ULURP procedure, as well as what is referenced for Community Board 15, we accept special permits. So over the years, because of that special permit, we have many, many zoning experts on the board after this many years of doing this. Also to mention, years ago, Borough Hall had a handout. It was a book with all the training published in it, explaining each and every zoning item, as well as questions that may come up at the community board. So I'd like maybe to bring back that handbook because it's an invaluable reference for the community board. Thank you. And our next meeting, March 22nd.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Teresa.
Teresa. And we're doing a lot of digging right now. We're doing a lot of digging in Borough Hall. So if it exists, we will find it. We're hoping we can find it because we want to make sure that if we could just use that as a platform off of which to build, we will. So we're working on that.
Yeah, Teresa, if you still have your copy, maybe you can share it with us. Promise, we'll give it back. CB 14.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Joanne Brown, Chair of Community Board 14. So this is my first time giving a report at Borough Board. So I just want to highlight some things that we've been up to for the past few months. In September, we were tasked, both myself and First Vice Chair Gail Smith, were tasked to join a community committee to interview candidates for the assignment of commanding officer of the 70th Precinct. This is a pilot program. We were the 70th Community Board to partake in this. It was an incredible experience, and I hope they continue the process at One Police Plaza. In December, Community Board 14 ratified edited bylaws, changing and consolidating some of our topical committees. We do have a new Housing and Land Use Committee. This is new to Community Board 14, and they are meeting for the first time on Thursday, March 3rd. That is very exciting. We have a presentation from HPD and from City Planning. In February, at our last journal meeting, Community Board 14 passed a resolution documenting a timeline and our concerns about the proposed operator for a 200-bed women's shelter at 1 Kenilworth Place. I believe the borough president has received our resolution and cover letter. And then just a few announcements. We have an annual nonprofit roundtable that we run every year where we get our district community-based organizations together where they can meet and greet and network. That's going to happen on Wednesday, March 30th. And then we are planning our annual youth conference for hopefully in May. Our next general meeting is on Monday, March 14th at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. When the bylaws are completed, can you please be sure that we get a copy so we can update our records here?
Yes, they were sent to the borough president's office in December once they were ratified, but now there is a change. So I will talk to the district manager about resending it to you.
Great, thank you. CB 13.
Hi, Chair of CB 13, Lucy. I want to just make a statement to please be very mindful of the May 1st date because some of our community boards are having elections this year. And for us, we would be closing the nominations at our May meeting. And if members are not appointed or new appointees or reappointed, we probably would have a problem with our elections. So please be very mindful with that. Thank you. The second thing is Community Board 13 had a meeting with EPA regarding the Superfund site for Coney Island. I want to thank the borough president for sending a representative. And I'm going to pass the baton right now to my first vice chair, Jeff, which will give you a brief description of what the meeting consisted of. Jeff, do you have 2 seconds, please?
Yes, I'm going to pass the baton on to the resident scientist, my wife, Ida Sanoff.
Talk about passing the buck. Hi, folks. Coney Island Creek has a long history of legacy contamination. It has many of the same industries as the Gowanus Canal had. The common name for the Gowanus Canal was the Lavender Lake because of the dye factories that used to discharge all their leftover dye into the creek into the canal at the end of the day and make the water all different colors. Well, Coney Island Creek had a dye factory on its banks as well. It built Navy destroyers. It built all sorts of boats. It broke down these ships. There was illegal dumping. We have a combined sewer overflow. And despite all of this, Coney Island Creek has become an incredible habitat. On its shores, on the eBirds Brooklyn Hotspots list, you can get close to 300 species of birds in and around Coney Island Creek. And by the way, I think this is one of the most ignored economic development opportunities in Brooklyn, because the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has done numerous studies on the demographics of birding, and it generates billions in tax dollars and tens of millions for local economies. So it would be nice if someone ever picked that up. But getting back to the creek, we have to get this legacy of historical contamination cleaned up. And since many of the companies that did the damage are long gone, you turn to the federal government, the Environmental Protection Association, EPA. And there's something called Superfund. Superfund is basically a huge pot of money that can be used to clean up some of this legacy contamination. And it took several years, and EPA has finally done an initial assessment of Coney Island Creek. And we had huge number of people on this committee meeting. We had 72 people, which was wonderful. And EPA will now be doing additional studies to see if it will include the creek on its national priorities list, which is where they list the properties that require cleanup. And the next step will be to see if ultimately we can get this incredible resource cleaned up. We have a little complicating issue, though, because nature has helped us with some of the cleanup. There's been a change in the way that sand moves around the Coney Island Peninsula, and we have cleaner sand covering up some of that legacy contamination, which is a great thing and will ultimately save the taxpayers a huge amount of money. However, we have a ferry terminal that is not yet operational. And in order to get that ferry terminal up and running, they're going to have to repeatedly remove this clean sand that is capping these contaminated sediments. So we really have a long road ahead of us. Come down, take a look at Coney Island Creek. It's just beautiful. We have people swimming there, even though they're not supposed to. It's a popular spot for baptisms. There are a number of educational programs that take place along its banks, and it's just an amazing place. And I'd like to thank CB13 for all of their efforts in addressing this situation, in reaching out to the US EPA. It took 5 long months to get them to set up the meeting, and they did a phenomenal job. Thank you, Lucy.
Okay, and thank you to the Borough President's Office for letting you speak for a little bit extra time, because I know they try to make these meetings as short as possible because of the workload. But thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, thank you, Borough President, and thank you, Carol, for allowing this. And now my wife will make me some dinner now.
That's good. Thank you for that report. And it would be great if one day it could be cleaned up and be a site just as Jamaica Bay. Community Board 12. Community Board 11. Community Board 10.
11, nothing to report.
Thank you. Community Board 10.
And Community Board 10, also nothing to report, and just sending greetings from our district manager, Josephine Beckman, and our chair, Lori Willis. Thank you.
Thank you. Community Board 9.
Good evening. Very briefly, one thing I wanted to highlight was I think last year one of the tragedies we saw with the Bronx, with the fires that happened. So I want to say that our community has been responsive. Councilmember Crystal Hudson, along with State Senator Zelnor Myrie, along with a number of representatives from different agencies and our community board office as well, did walkthroughs of a number of large-scale developments in the district. I think this is important in terms of we can't let the lessons be lost. We need to identify those areas where we really need to make sure that we're addressing safety of residents, especially in these large buildings. So we were very happy that that was convened and that we were able to participate in that. Additionally, one thing I also wanted to point at was I think one of the good things that came in terms of the process for applying for the community boards is that we gave some thought as a board as well in terms of how are we putting out information with respect to who we are as a board, what do we do, and answer some of the preliminary questions that people might not know about community boards or how our specific board operated. So we were able to do a virtual open house, so to speak, where we were able to basically discuss community boards, how they function, what they're comprised of, talk a little bit about our experiences as board members, some of the responsibilities, and set expectations for what people could see as once they come in. That was very well attended. It was a great program and something that would recommend that most boards think about incorporating into programming as we go forward. So around that December timeframe, we start thinking about that in terms of outreach to let people know who we are, what we do, and get that next generation of community board members, in the pipeline. Additionally, one of the topics that we've been talking about is the open meetings law and virtual meetings. We got slammed in December. We were almost looking at, oh, listen, we're almost done. We're almost through this. And then December and January ended up being nightmares. And now, thankfully, we see the numbers of hospitalizations coming down. We see the number of infection rates are going down as well. But one of the things we do want to do is also, again, in that spirit of reflection, make sure that as communities, we're looking at resilience. One of those talking about, virtual meetings. Do they have a place in terms of community board operations? I think there were a number of, definitely, sometimes the platforms are problematic and there's issues with that. But I think there was also a number of wins that we experienced as well with respect to more participation. It made it easier. During the winter times, inclement weather, we didn't have to have, especially our senior members, slogging through, bad weather. So, not to say that we had a definite proposal, but we think that it's worth a conversation from a borough perspective, just to kind of see what the learnings are, to see if there's any recommendations with regards to the open meetings law. When we go back, it forces a lot of things in terms of we have to go back virtually, and there are certain processes that we might need to actually review to see if they are still worth keeping, or is there a way to modernize that to make sure that we're able to increase participation as well and productivity. That's all I have, and I do bring greetings from my board. Just as a general announcement, we meet on March 22nd. All are definitely welcome to attend. Thank you very much. And Caroline, welcome. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you offered the idea of the open house, because I was going to steal it, but thanks for giving it up. Community Board 8. Community Board 7.
Hi, this is Cesar Zuniga, Chair of Community Board 7. So I think I just want to echo other comments in support of additional training. Certainly the parliamentary procedure, something that we could benefit from. The other, I guess, in addition to the training, though, I think something that I wanted to sort of bring up is we have been talking about engaging in a comprehensive planning endeavor, if you will. I think the impetus for this idea of comprehensive planning comes from just the recent few years where we've basically been on the sort of the defensive as developers have come into our district, seeking to rezone parts of the district. And I think part of what became really evident is that we feel strongly that we need to get more on the offensive by doing some community-led, community-centered comprehensive planning. And so we're going to be looking to the borough president to assist us with resources, assist us with expertise. One thing that we're mindful of is that, while we want to engage in the community planning process, we also recognize that the existing tools that are available to us are either broken or compromised. ULERP being one of those tools that we feel very strongly is in dire need of revision, both at the charter level and maybe even through some new legislation. So I think all of these are topics that we want to explore through our process of comprehensive planning, and we're hoping to count on the borough president and some of the resources that are available to your office, and hopefully will be available to us as well. So with that, I'll just leave it there.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Cesar. So I'm quite sure the borough president will assist however much we can, but also be aware that just like community boards and we also do have limited resources, but I'm quite sure that this is something he would have some interest of it, some level of interest in, and bring whatever the office has to assist.
Thank you.
Yeah. CB6, CB5.
Good evening. I'll get through as quickly as possible. I want to kind of jump in and also advocate for Community Board 5 to be the pilot district to receive that ULURP and zoning training, in particular because we were the pilot district for the East New York rezone, and we're still dealing with the impacts of that, as well as some of the broken promises, but it would be a great teaching tool for our board members to understand that process in a greater way, and to be able to now deal with the way that ULURP is viewed currently. So I'm just putting in an advocacy as well for that. Also, we're almost seeking assistance from Borough Hall to deal with some issues around our community board office space. Community Board 5 was located in 127 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is a historic building in the district for over 40 years. We were displaced for a while because the building went into disrepair and just became really dangerous and hazardous. We relocated back into the building, and we're still not sure about some of the issues that are going on and how, well, let's just put it this way. We're currently out of the office due to some underlying structural issues that have now been brought to surface. So we just would like some assistance from Borough Hall in pulling together another meeting with the parties who existed at those previous meetings with DCAS and 1PP, because the NYPD was given the allocation from the 37th Council District for the renovations, as well as for RFPs for programming in the building. So if you could just assist us with that. I don't know how it will go, Carol Ann, but I'll be happy to speak with you a bit more about it when you're available to see how we can work together on that. Also on the good side, just want to report that 11239, which is the zip code in our district that encompasses Starrett City and the new housing back there near the Gateway Mall, has been recognized as being 98% vaccinated. And the reason why it's a bragging moment is because they were also highest in the borough at one time as having positive COVID results. So we're happy to see that people are on the right track with getting healthy and hopefully avoiding COVID further. And we're looking forward to the vacancies being filled on our board that have been pending for some time now that we have our newly elected council members in the 37th, 42nd council districts, Councilmember Nurse and Councilmember Barron, who is no strangers to our district. So we're looking forward to those recommendations and final appointments. And lastly, just want to acknowledge a couple of our community-based organizations that are doing fantastic work and really leading in their industries around housing advocacy through Cypress Hills LDC and East New York Restoration LDC with small business support. They were able to get small grants for some of our smaller businesses like barbershops and salons. Are minority businesses, although they're not recognized MWBEs as of yet. They were able to get small grants for those businesses. And of course, Man Up Inc. for leading as one of our city's most recognized cure violence sites. And our general board is held on March 23rd. Hope to see some of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda. We can talk maybe Friday, anytime. Just give me a call and we can talk about trying to set up that meeting or exactly what your needs are. And good news to know that we do have communities that are just about fully vaccinated, because we need to get over this hump here. CB4.
Hi, how are you, Chairperson Camacho? I just have a few things. I'm just happy that you allow us to express some of our concerns and issues, and we can hear all as a community, as one borough, each one's different incidents, and how can we come around it, because cancer spreads. It don't stay in one place, and we want to make sure that we all are in it together, make sure that we all understand what's going on, because what happens to one block happens to another block. In ours, we just have a little concern in regards to the RAD conversion. Hope Garden is going under the RAD conversion. Their managerial skills aren't as bright as we want it, and also in respect to our seniors, and when they down zone and up zone some of these apartments, to make sure that our seniors aren't disrespected. They don't trust anyone anymore. So, and when you lose trust on a new development of someone there, you lose everything. So I have been myself working with and the board and addressing some of those issues. I know that now they can call 311 and we can send a buildings department, because before it used to go in through a machine. Since now they're not a private developer, so maybe we can put more pressure on them when they have no heat, when our seniors. Also, we really need some services. I don't know how he can in regards to food disparities. Some areas has it and some areas don't. I'm on the borderline of Bed-Stuy and Bushwick. So, if you feed over here, other people go. So we want to make sure that everybody eats. You know what I'm saying? So we really need to see what the borough president can do in regards to that. And also, as you know, all our old timers are retiring, and they are leaving the board. And myself, I was a young man when I got on the board, and they taught me how to represent our community the way it's supposed to be. Everything ain't about violence and pushing your way into anything, but only working together, making sure we're all understand what's going on. So we want to make sure that we do get our youth, and it's kind of hard to get our young kids to get involved if they're trying to work and get a job to support their family, because they can't afford to live in a community like ours. So I know there's a lot of disparities in regards to our rent, our people taking our hood away from us. So we really need to work together to make sure that we all can live here. We're not scared of change, but we want you to make us part of the change and be part of the change. In order for us to go forward, we got to know what way people suffered. So we really need to work together in regards to that. And I just like to thank you guys for giving us the time. So we meet, the executive board meets on the 16th, March 16th, on the executive board meets tomorrow, the 2nd, but the full board meets on the 16th. So on Wednesday. So if any y'all want to participate, please call the board's office and get the link. I'm not fond of this Zoom stuff. I know people are. I prefer seeing my old timers, and you can see how our people is, because you can't see how they are with their masses. So maybe we can see if they're really suffering, and maybe we can help them out instead of keeping them behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that we can make this borough board shine, and all of us in general, whether you can afford it, you can't afford. But eventually, if we don't stick together, the ones that can really can't, and the ones that can't really going to go far, and they're no longer going to be in this community. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Community Board 3.
Nothing to report this month. Thank you.
Thank you. Community Board 2.
Hi, it's Dorothea Thompson Manning. I'm the Vice Chair of Youth Education and the Cultural Affairs Committee. One of the things I want to bring out is that our Transportation Committee would love to have someone from DOT be present at those meetings because a lot of things happen that the community is unaware of. But DOT has taken over and they've done things and they said, well, we spoke to the community. The community might be 2 organizations with 15 people, whereas what they do may impact thousands of people. One of the things that has come up and that seems to cause a lot of controversy, of course, is the open streets. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done that could help the Transportation Committee to make sure that someone from DOT is present at the meetings. So at least the community has some input in their area. They know what's going on and they can at least voice their opinion and let it be really the community and not what's called the community. The other thing I want to say is we haven't had a district manager for about a year. And we were just told that we now have 3 applicants. And so I think in about mid-March, we'll have an opportunity for the membership to listen to them, question them, and then vote. And so that we should have a district manager within the next month or 2. And that's all I want to report on. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothea. Yes, I hope you get a DM soon.
That's a personal joke. She knows. Because she's from community board too.
I absconded.
Yeah, we hope you get one because I know how hard you guys are working without one.
CB1.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have anything to report on. I agree with all the suggestions that was made about the training. I just want to add that I think the training should be mandatory. And like what Teresa was saying, a manual should be given out. And I think it should be mandatory. And as far as when you do your reappointments, I think we should have a lot of civic-minded people that's interested in the whole district and every item that comes up, and not one item that they're interested in only. We need somebody that has the whole district at heart. Thank you. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Deanna. It's nice to work with you again. It's been a minute.
I'm looking forward to it, Caroline. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think the post office miss us, do they?
Okay.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They miss you. The mail ain't coming, so we miss you.
Yeah, I know. We worked hard on that. We worked hard on it, but you know, the virus stopped a lot of work. But and I disagree with you, Camacho. I think the virtual platform is great because we get more participation. Community gets more input. Whereas where we have our meetings, they won't accommodate the people that we're accommodating on the platform. So I would love to continue virtually because it gets. I've noticed that Community Board 1 has been more involved since we've been on the virtual platform. And the community learned a lot that they didn't know before. Because if you're home, you just got home from work, you done picked up your kids, you come home, you got to take care of your kids and give them dinner and get ready for school tomorrow. You can't come to a meeting because you already had a babysitter all day. You can't afford to pay a babysitter to come to a meeting. So I think the virtual platforms reaches the community better.
Bravo, Biscola. Bravo. You said it beautifully. Teresa Scavo, 100% with you.
Thank you.
Thank
Joan
you.
Walker Dean, 100%. Can I say 1,000,000%? Is that a thing outside of Maury? Because
Thank you.
the amount of no's I've heard just trying to fill positions within my community board is eventually I was starting to take it personal. So I 1,000,000% support your commentary.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
I supported it. I support it if you do it for both of us. If you do it for both, if you do it for the open and if whoever wants to go there, I don't mind. If you do it for both.
You lost the battle, Camacho. You lost the
guys,
battle.
I'm gonna take back my meeting. Thank you. But yes, we have people on both sides of the divide. Should we meet in person or virtually? And there are lots of advantages to both. Calling for comments for the council member from District 48 or the council member's representative. Council District 47. Council District 46.
Hi, this is Kim Robinson for council member. I'm not sure if she's still on the line. Council member Mercedes. So just few updates. I'm sorry, make my camera back on. Hi, Kim Robinson again for council member Mercedes Narcisse. So a few updates. The council member has been out and about addressing the food insecurities. On Mondays, we do food giveaway at Sheepshead Bay and Ocean Development. We also do one on the second Monday on Flatland and East 81st. And on the third Mondays at Bayview Houses, which is 2085 Rockaway Parkway, where we'll be having a mammogram bus at the office on March 23rd. Again, that's March 23rd. Please get the word out. They need to call to confirm their space. You can call the office. So we're really trying to get that information out. It's all about being preventive. Last couple of weeks, the council member walked through giving out masks. Thank you for the BP office for the donations, addressing the small businesses, the barber shops, and just hearings of concern. So the council member is out and about, meeting with the people, talking to them, and really trying to address some of their concerns. So, and you can reach us at 718-241-9330. Again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Councilmember Louis, Council District 45.
Good evening. This is Christia Winter representing Councilmember Lewis. Just wanted to share that on March 7th, we're looking to organize an event in partnership with the Department of Finance. It's going to be a homeowners benefit information session. So if you own a home, condominium, or co-op, we're going to be showing you how to lower your property taxes. So we're inviting anyone interested to attend. And as soon as the flyer is finalized, we'll be sharing that on social media and our email list. If you're interested in learning more, feel free to give us a call at 718-629-2900 or sending us an email at district45@council.nyc.gov. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you. District 44, Councilmember Nycha, I saw you on.
Still here. How are you? Very quickly, before I speak briefly, the BP was talking about the deadline for applications. I'm wondering if you could just make sure that the council members and the district managers have a list of any of their members with expiring terms who haven't yet applied. So maybe we could do some affirmative outreach to get them to get their stuff together. And if it's not that hard to do, if you can get those out to us, we can make the calls. It's always a problem to get them to do it after the deadline and to ask the BP's office to take a late application, which, you know, invariably is what we end up doing.
We will try to get that out, but I do suggest that district managers, they received the list earlier, that they send it out again to the membership.
I understand that, but I'm saying that there are 25 members on each board whose terms expire. If we know that there are 3 who haven't gotten the applications, we can simply pick up the phone and call them up. If you send me a list of 25, I'm not going to call any of them. So, okay, so that's on that. Just very quickly to the chairs and the district managers, I just want to give you an update. Last time we were together, we discussed briefly the open restaurants, the outdoor dining, as they call it, or the rat homes, shanty towns, whatever it is you want to call them. I know what we call them in my neighborhood. Since we were all together, the city council passed the zoning text amendment which most of the boards that I see here tonight opposed. And I wanted to let you know that this is the first step to this monstrosity, this disgusting mess, becoming permanentized in our city. So the item passed the council with 6 no votes and 1 abstention, which means that we have some work to make sure that my colleagues see some of the horror stories that you're seeing in your neighborhoods. So if you have any particular garbage, shantytown, disgusting shacks that you want to make sure your council member gets a picture of, gets the address, I'm looking at you, Chair Camacho, I know you know them. Get them out to your council members and make sure that they're aware, so that, you know, they just might not know all of what you're seeing. And I don't know everything that's in my district. I rely on my district managers and my chairs. So if you could make sure to get those to the members, because the rest of the bill, the part that gives us over to DOT for enforcement, the part that really will allow these to open up wherever they feel like, is coming down the pipe. It's already pending in the committee and it's coming down the pipe. And I know I saw some of the district managers testify at the council hearing, and I just want you to keep an eye on this because you're not going to see me again for a month. So that's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll send them the whole batch I got.
Yeah. I know, Camacho, I know you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll be ready.
To all your members.
Thank you. District 43, Councilmember Brannon's office. Okay. District 42, Councilmember Barron's office.
No, I don't have any particular comments tonight. This is my first meeting. I probably will be coming to this meeting often. I would indicate, look at the news. There was a press conference at City Hall today in support of the elected Civilian Review Complaint Board as we get into a new legislative agenda. And so hopefully that will receive widespread support. I think one of the fundamental things dealing with the question of a police abuse in our city. And as the councilwoman would say, the resolution of crime is to end poverty. And I wish, as our mayor has said, that you could put an adjective in front of greed and make it go away. But unfortunately, compassion in itself will not do it. So thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Council District 41, Councilmember Mealy.
Hi, good evening. How are you? I'm Melissa Wilson. I'm the Chief of Staff for Councilmember Mealy. I just wanted to reach out. So I have heard some of the concerns from Camacho and some districts as it relates to food. We also have been doing food distributions every Wednesday from 11 to 2. The community can come out. In addition, we are working with OACE. We are registering any adults who need free computer classes. We can assist with that. Serve Safe certifications for free. ASHA, the ASHA 39s and the 40s. We have ESL classes, adult education classes, GED. All they need to do is either give us a call at our office, 718-953-3097. And we have on-site individuals registering, any and everyone who would like to take any of these classes. They are free. We also are working with some of our partners over at NILAG and some other organizations to provide any legal assistance that may be needed in the community for housing, landlord-tenant issues, domestic violence issues, and any other issues we're currently facing. So please feel free to reach out. We are here, and I thank you for your time.
Do you mind repeating the number again, please?
Sure, it's 718-953-3097. That's the district office number. If you want to reach out in regards to some of the free registration we're doing, you can send that email to me. It's okay. I'm Wilson at council.nyc.gov. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Council District 40, Councilmember Rito Joseph. A representative. Okay. Council District 39, Councilmember Hanif.
Hi, my name is Misrat Lamia, and I am here on behalf of Councilmember Hanif. As many of you may know, last week Councilmember Hanif had pretty major surgery on her hip, and so she's currently recovering from that. Once she's back on her feet, we hope to start resuming a lot of the different things that we have planned, including the launch of our school tour. Councilmember Hanif plans to tour all of the schools in our district in the following months, and that will hopefully start this month. Other things that we just wanted to flag and let the community board leaders know is that this past Monday we had a pretty extensive first hearing for her Committee on Immigration. We had over 6 hours of testimony from city council members, folks who had been detained at Orange County Jail, community groups, community leaders, about their experiences with ICE detention and how COVID has been specifically ravaging the different detention facilities. And then this upcoming month, we have a couple of events that I wanted to just flag for our community leaders. On the 15th, we're having a tax prep event that's going to be in Spanish as well as English. And on the 25th, we're having a citizenship application event with CUNY Citizenship Now, which will also be in Spanish. But yeah, other than that, if you all need anything, I'll put my contact information in the chat, and that would be all from our district.
Thank you so much. Council District 38, Councilmember Aviles.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all. It has been a busy month since last month. I can't believe we're already back here today. So I guess just a couple of updates. First, to say happy Dominican Independence Day that just passed this weekend, and certainly happy Women's History Month for all mujeres out there, and happy St. Patty's Day that's coming up pretty soon. And I'm sure I missed some other holidays, so apologies for that. But so as you all probably know, we are heading into budget hearings, all the council members. So, you know, we are doing the deep dive. You've heard the preliminary budget that was released by the mayor with some top line items, $98.5 billion budget. So in terms of, you know, we will be doing certainly deep dives in every area and developing a response to the mayor. As the chair of the Public Housing Committee, I will be having our first budget hearing pretty soon coming up, and would love to certainly touch base with any district managers and DMs on issues related to public housing in the district. So certainly Camacho would love to talk to you some more about what's going on in Hope Gardens, not only at that site, but certainly any issues related to public housing. Invite the conversation, super important. Let's see. I guess I will say I am glad to hear about the conversation of the importance of the potential of hybrid and not losing some of this good lessons for some community boards. It seems like the Zoom works. For others, it might be a bit challenging. So I would just implore all my colleagues to let's use the lessons learned. We learned a lot during this pandemic around ways of working differently and how it could be more inclusive for some communities. So I just say, let's learn what we can, hold what works for us, and be flexible with each other. Lastly, I guess I will mention that we're going to be having mobile office hours in our district. Our office is on 44th and 4th Avenue, for those of you who may know Sunset, but we're doing mobile office hours in Chinatown on 908 58th Street on March 12th, and also doing mobile office hours in Red Hook at the public library on the same day. So we're going to be trying to bring our office to different parts of our district to try to make sure that we reach as many residents as possible. And we will do that certainly on a recurring basis and find like a very tight schedule for that. I guess other than that, you know, advocating for better buses for all of Brooklyn, transportation. We've been on some education hearings talking about the services for English language learners, and certainly what has happened over the pandemic and how we can do better by our young people and public school students. Yeah, there's a ton more to report, but I guess I will leave it there and say, please feel free to reach out to our office, District 38 at council.nyc.gov, and our telephone number is 718-439-9012. So thank you so much for all the work that you do across Brooklyn.
Thank you, Councilmember. Just today in our staff meeting, the director in charge of constituent services mentioned that one of the more frequent calls we've been receiving is that complaints on Nycha housing. So maybe I'll see if she can tell us like what the trend is, and we'll send that on to you to add to your report.
Absolutely. We know Nycha is in a severe state of disrepair, but whatever we can do to both hold the agency accountable, speed up those repairs, and improve quality of life for our residents, we're happy to partner. So absolutely.
Thank you so much. District 37, Councilmember Nurse. District 36, Councilmember O'Shea. Probably butchering his name. Council District 35, Member Crystal Hudson.
Good evening. I just want to have just talk about a few things that are on the horizon next week of the council members. Next week on March 8th will be the hearing on the Atlantic Avenue land use proposals. The Committee on Land Use will be hearing that at 10 a.m. It's a virtual hearing, and we encourage folks to tune in. And if you'd like to testify on your thoughts about the projects, please do. The council member was appointed as the aging chair. And so our first hearing is also next week on Friday at 10 a.m. It's a joint hearing with Chair Mealy, who chairs the subcommittee on senior centers and food insecurity. The hearing will cover DFTA's home delivery meals program and their process of putting out their 60+ recovery meals for our seniors in the district and around the city. And I just wanted to share those two things that are on the horizon next week. So thank you all.
Thank you. Council District 34, Councilmember Gutierrez. Council District 33, Member Lincoln Ressler.
Hi, everyone. This is Mariana, Lincoln's Chief of Staff. Just wanted to highlight two recent events. This last Saturday, we organized a walking tour of downtown Brooklyn with Michael Higgins Jr. of the Brooklyn Movement Center. The tour was really about the downtown Brooklyn's place in Black history, and this was in celebration of Black History Month. And it talked also about the downtown Brooklyn rezoning and organizing efforts against gentrification down there. And then yesterday, we, along with several of our council colleagues and Borough President Reynoso, sent a letter to the Brooklyn Department of City Planning, asking them to call on developers or ask developers when they're applying for rezoning in a transit-rich area to apply for a special permit so that they don't have to build the parking minimums that are required currently. And the idea there is that we don't need to be building parking spots in areas where there's lots of public transport alternatives. So thank you very much to the Borough President for his leadership on this issue, and to all of our council colleagues who signed on, and particularly Councilmember Avilés, who was there with us yesterday. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I saw my colleague from Community Board 12 logged in, and I think I saw one other person who was not on when we called. Barry, do you have anything to say?
Yes, hi, Caroline. I just wanted to say, I said it at Borough Service Cabinet, that the Borough President made the exemplary pick, picking you.
Thank you.
Joining Borough Hall. We're so excited. And I get to say it now at Borough Board. So we're really happy that you joined the Borough President's office. One of ours, somebody that actually worked in a community board and understands the relationship. So we're very happy for you. Congratulations and looking forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry. I appreciate that. Ms. Weatherspoon, I think we didn't hear from you.
Good evening. Yes, my apologies for my late arrival. Good evening to everyone. I am from Community Board 8, and I'm glad to be amongst you.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you all for those very extensive updates. Before we move into other business, I'd just like to make a couple very quick announcements to the council members and their representatives. Please fill out the designation forms. I send them today as well. If you're not available, it means that someone else can cover for you and can vote on your behalf. So it's really important that you fill those out. Don't be afraid to add 2 designees. We'll email them and you can coordinate who will attend the meeting or who's going to vote if you yourself will not be in attendance. We really appreciate that. And I can't stress again, as Councilmember Yeager reminded us, applications are due on March 4th. We're going to try to do what you asked, Councilmember, but staffing and time, it might be a really heavy lift for us, but it's on the list. Just want you to know that. At this point, does anyone, any member of the board, have any new business to bring?
I do have a new business item. I forgot to, in the moment before, to make 2 mentions. The first one is to celebrate the fact that after, I think, about 3 years, Community Board 17 now has a staff member replaced. We now have an assistant district manager coming on board. So I'm quite excited about that and looking forward to what it means for us. And we also have, through a resolution, though there was a bit of a sticky time frame for everything to be developed, but through a resolution from the community board members, we now have an additional, so we have a land use committee, but we now have an ad hoc rezoning committee for the next few months, while we focus on the contextual zoning of Community Board 17. So just so happens that my treasurer is the person who has been appointed to serve as the chair for this zoning committee. So I wanted to make that announcement as well. And one more time, make the case for Community Board 17 to serve as the litmus test. Thank you so much. Okay.
You're a great advocate. Does anyone else have any other comments? Going once, twice, 3 times? Hearing no response, is there any objection to adjourning tonight's meeting?
No.
Okay, so our next meeting will be Tuesday, April 5th at 6 p.m. Please put it in your calendar and stay well until we see you again. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Blessed evening,
night.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Take care.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night and thank you.